Hi guys, this is your daily horoscope and energy reading for September 2nd, and I'm feeling a little bit better. I got a little bit more TB, and I am not, so congested because I think the decongestion is starting to kick in, and so I am feeling a little bit better. So let's talk about the energy and get it buzzing in us, and let's talk about how we can, maintain, an absolute high from today, from the best that we can of this energy that we have. Today, I want to talk about the moon in Taurus. And now remember, the moon is our emotion. And I talk a lot about emotion, mostly because I'm kind of emotion-driven person, because I am a Leo on the cusp of Cancer. All primary degrees are in Cancer, as I've said 1,000 times. But I also believe that as human beings, that's what sets us apart from every other mammal out there, is how in tune we are with our emotions. And so I put a lot of emphasis on the moon, as you may have noticed, and that's because you need to know where your emotions are going to go today in order to always have balance, internal balance, right? Because that's pretty much what I try to seek as much as I can in my life, is just some sort of emotional balance. And perspective. Emotional perspective is very important too, because what I perceive as something that may hurt my feelings may have not been what they intended. It just may have been how I interpreted what they said, and therefore, it impacted me in a way that maybe they didn't actually mean, So today the moon is in Taurus, and this is a great place for it to be. I love a Taurus moon. It heightens all your senses, and it makes you incredibly grounded, and I think you're very sensitive when you have all this energy in a Taurus moon. But I definitely think that it sheds light on how you value yourself. Emotionally, I think you can tell a lot when the moon is in Taurus. It's like a barometer of how you feel about yourself on all of your 5 senses. So even if you try to ignore where you're at emotionally, just logically, I don't think you can get away with it when the moon goes into Taurus. And this moon is it's in a good aspect, but I don't think it's in an ideal aspect. So I think that some of us can be very hypersensitive today. We could suffer from a lot more anxiety. Our emotions may be elevated, for lack of a better word. So today the moon in Taurus is going to be squaring off with with Mars in Leo and Venus in Leo, both in retrograde, and they're a couple degrees apart. But remember, at this point, the degrees for that particular transit for those two and their dance together are, in the young adult stage of where it's at that, high teenager, young adult stage. And so I think we're getting a better grip on that transit and how that dance is going and how it's impacting us, and what aspects are coming from our past, how we need to define ourselves, how we need to reroute all this information and think about it. It also, we're passionate, but we're in perspective because Venus is in retrograde at this time in Leo. So I think we're weighing a lot of stuff. I think it's very good for the moon to be in Taurus because, it's very private when it weighs things out. It likes to hold all of its emotions in when you have that kind of energy. So a lot of the stuff that is going to be going on with you, if anything does, is very internal. And so I don't think you're going to feel a whole lot. You're going to show your emotions outwardly, unless it's somebody that you trust, somebody from your past, somebody that you can get real with. I do think that if you tell people how you really feel, you may have some backlash from that. So just be very careful, especially if it's romantic-based relationships, because it may start something up and may may lower the vibration of the energy. Remember, a square is just, it lowers that vibration. So it may make you passionate and very egocentric if somebody isn't on board with where you are. It's also trining, the moon in Taurus is also trining the sun in Virgo. So I think for the most part, you're grounded, you're feeling relaxed, for many people, you're feeling relaxed. You may have some sensitivities that come up, but again, I just think it's because you're getting everything in perspective and you're learning how to compute it all. And I think there's a lot of past reflection for sure that's going on, and I think it's creating a lot of emotions inside yourself that you don't want to tell people. So today you want to just take a look at how you value yourself throughout this whole time. So you're weighing things, stuff are coming back from your past. You may have had talks with people about things from your past. And, you know, I think how you're perceived by others could shock you a little bit and make you overly sensitive, because maybe how you're being perceived by others, you're like, well, I'm more valuable than how you see me. Especially if these people are from your past, they are basing it on who you used to be before you were awakened or enlightened, or however you want to call it. And so just don't let that throw you or get in your way. You may be stubborn and unwilling to listen to people. They could be giving you pearls and really good ideas and a really good perspective, but you're stubborn and, you know, you've got your journey. You can only go as fast as you can go. If others are expecting more out of you than you can possibly give right now, that is very emotionally frustrating, because you know what? You are taking one day at a time. You are very deliberate in what you're doing. And you are absorbing information, you're analyzing it, and you are finding a way to interpret it and apply it to your life. This is a process. This is an evolution. It is not something that you just snap, I'm going to stop doing my poor coping method. Oh my God, okay, before you can stop a coping method, you even got to know that you have a poor coping method, which you're being awakened to. And then on top of that, you're not even sure why you do what you do. You know it's something you don't want to do, but you don't know how to stop doing it. Like you don't know how to make that automatic response in you, dissolve it. And for some of you don't even know what those automatic responses are. So you may find that at times, you know, like I said, writing down your triggers, this is a slow process. Finding out what your trigger is, finding out, and then analyzing what that trigger was and what it made, like how it applied to the situation you were in, what memories did it bring back. Like there's a lot that goes into psychologically exploring the depths of your mind and why you do what you do. So I think people just need to slow down and stop judging others and, you know, value people for where they're at right now. And if you can't handle exactly where they're at, then you need to remove yourself from the situation, concentrate on your own life balance, and stop concentrating on other people's life balance. Because, you know, judging others isn't going to help them on their journey. It's not going to get them there any faster. Today is full of extremes. It's full of it's highs and lows. When I looked at the chart, it was like opposition quincunxes and then a whole bunch of trines, and then opposition and quincunxes and a whole bunch of trines. Like it was so nuts. So I think many of you are going to go on like an emotional roller coaster where all your senses are activated. A smell could set something off, right? Or a memory that you're not even consciously aware of, that you don't even know is a trigger, could set something off and could make you quincunx or could make you square. So be mindful. Remember, Saturn and Scorpio is sextiling the North Node in Libra. So remember the word balance and give yourself the grace of that. If you get sent off in quincunx, then take a deep breath. I want you to picture control and peace. And I want you to close, I mean, sometimes I have to actually close my eyes and take myself out of the physical situation that I'm in. When you close your eyes, it's almost like you shut the door on exactly the spot where you're at. You know how there are times when you're sick that you're hot, and then you're cold, and then you're hot, and then you're cold, and then you're hot, and then you're cold. I'm kind of at that spot where I'm freaking boiling because the medications are taking down my fever. So sorry I had to get in my tank top. It's just, I'm hot now. And then 5 minutes from now, I'll be freaking cold. But, so I really want you to find a way to just have peace and serenity in the moment that you're in. And just know that if you can't, then just close your eyes and picture the door closing and darkness. And that darkness is soothing. It's not scary. It's soothing. And I want you to, when your eyes are closed, I want you to just be like, I picture peace, I picture tranquility, and if you have to, picture an ideal setting when you close your eyes. Now, this is a work day for many people, and so it is physically impossible to remove yourself from situations that cause triggers, and so that's why we're trying to find ways to have balance when our expectations are still the same expectation, right? Because if you experience a freaking low and it kicks your butt and it triggers and an automatic response, let's go eat something in the candy machine, or let's go smoke a cigarette, or let's go have another cup of coffee, whatever your issue is that you have, I want you guys to just, before you do that, envision control, envision Saturn's rings controlling you, controlling your response, minimizing your response to that stimuli. I want you to really start working in your mind and making some of these automatic triggers trigger something else. The word control, the word stop, the word analyze, think, balance. Balance is a big word, I can't even tell you how important these techniques have been for me. They have been incredibly wonderful, and I have made substantial progress by just doing some of these little techniques that I'm teaching you. So, So Uranus in Aries right now is causing a little bit of a low vibration, and not a little bit, a square. And so Uranus in Aries is squaring off with Pluto in Capricorn. So this is something shocking, may cause you to have some problems in a stable environment. I would say that some of you, your foundations could be rocked, or a work situation could become uncharacteristic. It could be a high and a low, and a high and a low extremes in people's behaviors may make you unhappy and just feeling like you don't know what you're doing here. Like you could have that type of environment. But I'm thinking that this is more past related. So and the only reason why I say that is because Uranus in Aries right now is trining Mars in Leo and Venus in Leo. So I'm thinking that it's a past poor coping method that you used to use that could get you ahead, that's being focused on by others, and it's something that you're really upset, and it's making you have a passionate response to it. And this is somebody that you care about. This is something that you care about, or this is a life lesson or a karmic lesson that you learned in your past that kind of is unexpectedly meeting the present. And so the past and the present are here together, and you are trying to decide, how do you identify yourself? Where do you see yourself? What type of foundation are you trying to create? That can create a lot of confusion. So I think what's happening is, you know, for you, you have these past predisposed responses to things. You know they're not right, but they give you immediate gratification. And so there's that struggle, that internal struggle. And I just want you to understand that it's just ego and fear. You are setting yourself apart from who you used to be. When your ego dies, you are rebuilding who you are. But, you know, defining who you are at this point can be very confusing. And so this is a day full of confusing and ego and fear. And, you know, you want progress, but then you know that there's this slow, steady climb that you need to do, and everything needs to be deliberate. And emotionally, all your senses are activated at this time. So this can cause, anytime you're going back into the past, anytime you're dealing with romantic endeavors, anytime you're dealing with creative endeavors, anytime that you're dealing with a romantic affair, it is going to cause a lower vibration. It's going to cause fear. So in the higher vibration of Aries and Uranian energy is courage, breaking free, rebelliousness. Well, that can be good and bad. You could be trend setting. You could lead by example. Yes, all of those things can be happening, but people are still pulling you into your past and defining you as something as such. And so, you know what? You're trying to define your ego. And everybody's saying, well, your ego is this, and I know you, and that's the way you are, and that's the way you work, and you're never going to change. And so that could create that can make you have a self-sabotaging behavior and make you defeat all the progress that you're trying to make, because you are starting to buy into some of this BS that people are saying. And you know what? They're tests, honey. They're tests. They're tests of endurance. They're tests of will. They're tests of strength. They're just, don't let them break you. Pull out some of this Uranian and Aries and freaking switch it into a high vibration. Trine it out and make it be like, yes, that's how I used to be. Acknowledge it. But I also used to be, when I was younger, I also used to be this type of person. And you knew me then too. So I'm not just what you define me as now. I am also this person. And I remember when I was strong, and I remember when I was virile, and I remember when I cared, and I remember when I had all the answers. And you know what? I'm going to get back there, and don't let them pull you down. For some of you, Jupiter is going to expand your need to, you know, seek out an ego-based response to things. So, you know, you're feeling pinned, you're feeling, you know, you're stubborn, and you want this recognition, and you want people to value you on the level that you feel that you have climbed to. And you know what? You're not. So what you know, just be careful not to shut down, have some, you know, ego-based response. Go for some immediate gratification, fall into predisposed wiring, and be unwilling to change. Just be like, you know what, nobody's acknowledged it, nobody cares. You know what, I am going to fall back into my own ways and screw all of you, and have this aggressive response to it. Jupiter's going to go in and expand that crack. It's going to go in there, and it's trying to push your boundaries. It's trying to pull you in opposite directions. Anytime you have Jupiter in Virgo in a quincunx, it's pulling your mind in two different directions. And in this case, I'm seeing a lot of energy in the past. So this has something to do with who you used to be in the past, or a past relationship, or a past life-defining moment that is causing your brain to expand, and it's not feeling great, right? Oh, my butt is just numb. So here's what I want you to do. The day is crazy. The day is just energetically all over the place, okay? So we're going to take a look at this and we're going to say, okay, energetically, this is my day. You know, if you're feeling like your mind is expanding in two different directions and is being pushed and pulled, and 1 minute you're high, 1 minute you're low, there's all this past stuff. Okay, take a breath, and I want you to breathe, and I want you to get your center back, get your core back. I want you to pull into your sun, and I want you to pull into Virgo, and I want you to start to expand consciousness. Those are all unconscious perspectives, right? Those are unconscious fears, unconscious coping methods. You're going to pull yourself into conscious thought. And again, I do this by dramatic things. You know, there are times when sometimes I'll be going along and I'll be like, I love my ex. You know, I'll just say it to myself. I miss him and I love him. And then I'll say it. And then, because that's an unconscious response to, I don't know, whatever's unconsciously going on with me, I'll say, I love Annette. I love the fact that I have a great job. I love the fact that today's beautiful. I love the fact that today is the first day of, you know, or the second day of September. Like, I make myself pull back to right now, this day. I will look, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. It's like, you know, if I'm sitting in my job and I had that unconscious pull back to my past, I will pull my mind conscious, and I'll say, if I'm in a classroom, I'll say, God, I love my job. I love teaching. You know, I love that I have a job where I can pay my bills. And I know that seems like silly and just a very childish thing to do, but it immediately brings my mind to the present and stops the unconscious tugs backward to whatever it is that I'm going through unconsciously. And again, we're talking about making our minds become aware of where we want to control where our focus goes, our energy goes, and it can't go back to the past if it's a relationship that you can't have, right? So yeah, I always think about my past relationship because, you know, there were many good times. And so when I need, I think, an energetic pick-me-up, I think I go back to that somebody accepting me on every level, you know. And so I don't know if I can't figure out if that's why it does it. I've been trying to figure out that trigger for a while. So Jupiter can expand your brain in a really bad direction, or it can expand you in some progressive movement. So don't let it trick you and pull you backward. Now, I talked about the fact that, you know, we have this Saturn and Scorpio, so we have a lot of energy, this sextile, the Saturn and Scorpio sextile with the North Node and Libra that we've been talking about all week. So we have a lot of energy wanting us to move forward, wanting us to ascend. You know, God, that keeps going into my armpit for some reason. Hair. So, you know, I want you guys to focus on control and balance and keeping everything in its right perspective. If you have a negative emotion, that's okay. That's just the energy's trying to say right here, that hint, that's actually where you gotta work. Or, you know what, you have this hidden trigger here you didn't know, you just got triggered. Thank you, universe. I'll go write that down, and then I'll freaking sit down when I am not so emotionally connected to the situation. This is all Moon and Taurus stuff. This is what they do. They can categorize. So even though there are a sensitive sign and, you know, at times can let their emotions run away with them, I think for the most part, you know, come here, Pop. Oh, hello, baby. Mommy working too hard, not paying enough attention to your cute little mug. Look at that mug. So I think we just need to find a way to keep balance and control, especially in our mental well-being right now. Francis, come here. Francois, come here, Papa. Come here, cute stuff. Come down here and love a mama, because she's been missing you. I've been missing you. It's hard when I don't pay attention to him. I always feel bad because it's the weekend and I feel like he should be my focus. And he didn't get to go hiking today, so, or this weekend, because well, it's been raining and icky and it hasn't been great. So, I love you. So, today may be one wild and crazy ride, but we're going to talk about number 3. Today is number 3 of our mental health diet. And the energetic buzz for today is going to be on placing value on yourself. Even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of people pulling you back in your past and defining yourself, find a way to always stay in the highest vibration of where you're at. So, you know what? This is actually one of the most powerful methods that I have found to change my energy and actually place it in the highest vibration. So what I do is, you know, if I say that I love somebody and it's somebody I can't have, then like I said before, I say I love myself. And I list all the things that I love and value about myself. And it makes my brain present. It adds some gratitude, and it makes me feel thankful for where I'm at. Hi, baby. You're a good boy. And then, you know, in turn, I usually go, the next list I do is all of the people that I value, I acknowledge in my head. I love my children. I love my dog. I love my cat. You know, I love certain family members. I'm very blessed to have them. I'm very blessed to have wonderful coworkers, and I will list them. And, you know, I will talk about how much I love people, and I will place a lot of value on higher vibrations of energy. I will. And it is very important to do this because it takes the energy off of the low vibration of all energy, all quincunx energy, all squares, all everything, and it really just allows us to redirect our energy in a really good area. So that is your energy buzz recommendation for September 2nd. I don't know why, I just can't get it through my head. It's like August, and then I want to, and it's September. So what I want to say to you guys is never, 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 ever place more value on somebody else than yourself. Talk about your eyes. Talk about your smile. Talk about your skin color. Talk about your hair to yourself. Like really, really value something amazing. Something you stand out. Something that when you look at other people, and this isn't a vanity thing, but when you look, well, kind of is. When you look at somebody else, you're like, but I have this. This is something extraordinary about myself. And you know, and put a lot of value on it. I mean, mental value, like really, you know, if you're a really great parent, put a lot of value on that. If you're really good at your job, put a lot of value on that. Be proud and stand tall and get a buzz, get an energy buzz about how freaking amazing you are, because you're freaking amazing. I know it. I love you guys, and I look forward to talking to you guys again tomorrow.